You're live.
Hello and welcome to another Thursday night here out with the ITSR Intensely Twisted B-car series on Thursday evenings live once again on MW Productions. This week, race number 2 on this first segment here after last week's inaugural race at the Texas Motor Speedway with a Longhorn 125. This evening, the Stripe This 125 headed out to the Darlington Raceway this evening. The track deemed too tough to tame, the Lady in Black, whatever you want to call it. This racetrack definitely going to put up a big task for these drivers to try to figure out, and qualifying going to get underway as these drivers head out to the racetrack to try to put down their 2 fastest times to figure out where we're going to set the field for this 125 lap race. Last week, however, it was the inaugural, again, the B-car series here, almost the nationwide of sorts to the Twisted Cup Tuesday night series here that ITSR runs. Started off at the Texas Motor Speedway. That race also 125 laps in length. And we take a look at those event results. Brandon Chaburko able to walk away in the winning position, and the number 88 machine able to lead 18 laps. Driver leading the most laps this evening was the 24 of Stefan Marinak. He led 97. He came home second. Brett McBride would come home third after leading 3 laps in a number 2 machine. The 66 of Brian Harvey finishing in the number 4 spot. J. Randall Watkins in 5th spot. The 16 machine. CJ Verandi 11 finished 6th. Jose Gonzalez in the 7 finished 7th. Frank Busili in the 3rd in the 8 machine, or in the 94 machine rather, finished 8th. Jay Horton in the 14 finished 9th, and John Wilco in the 22 finished in the number 10 spot. And looking forward now to this race again, the Darlington Raceway. Look at the track itself, located in Darlington, South Carolina. Capacity crowd of 75,000 people can pack into these grandstands for a race owned and operated by the International Speedway Corporation. Broke ground 1949 and opened on Labor Day in 1950. Talk about the track surface itself, a very unique racetrack. Turns 1 and 2, a lot bigger than turns 3 and 4, which makes this track so interesting. Asphalt surface, 1.366 miles in length, obviously 4 turns. We have a little bit of varying banking down there in turns 1 and 2, going to be 25 degrees, 3 and 4. 23 degrees, and down the front straightaway 3, and down the back straightaway 2 degrees respectively for those parts of the racetrack. But again, because these turns obviously being different size, different radiuses per se, you have to take them very differently. In this racetrack, it looks really wide, but you're going to see that dashed white line, the checkered line there kind of on the bottom of the racetrack. That's really the racing groove. Racing groove on this racetrack is very small. 1 car into the wall in qualifying. Frank Coons with a hard wreck in qualifying, as I caught that there as they're trying to get down their fastest times this evening. Not going to be uncommon. Very hard to keep this race car too wide on this racetrack. The guy on the bottom, if he doesn't push up with the guy up top and put him in the wall, he's going to get down there right to below those dashed white lines. Those hash marks might spin it out. Also, coming off the corners, turns 2 and 4, also going to kind of be a calamity corner to look forward to in this evening's event. And as we take a look at the championship standings, also here with the ITSR guys and the B series over here, take a look at who's up there on top of the championship standings right now. Same as the results, Brandon Chaburko as of now. Time starting to wind down and qualifying. We're going to go down trackside now for the opening ceremonies and the promo.
New shoes, and I don't know where I'm going to. Tin suit, black tie, and I don't need a reason why. Come running just as fast as you can. Every girl's crazy about a sharp dressed man. Gold watch, diamond ring. Well, I ain't missing on a single thing. Conference, stick pen and ask if I don't know the do you in. They come running just as fast as they can.
Hey, look here, beavers. You better hide your wives, hide your husband, and look here, both of you hide your kids, because we're coming.
Every girl's crazy about a sharp-dressed man. Top hat, and I don't worry 'cause my wallet's fat. Black shades, black gloves, looking sharp, looking for love. They come running just as fast as they can. Every girl's crazy about a sharp dress hat. Make some noise! Clean shirt, new shoes, and I don't know where I'm going to. Silk suit, black tie, and I don't need a reason why. They come running just as fast as they can. Every girl's crazy about it.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
It's the final countdown. The final countdown. Oh.
Qualifying coming to a close, and we're going to drive you through this field and let you know where they're going to be starting. On the pole, the 37 of Ben Burnett. Time, 28.969. The only driver to crack that 29-second barrier, get down into the 28s outside row number 1. Second starting position, going to be Matt Lacrosse in the 21. Daniel Murphy in the 75 machine, representing the Real Racing Online squad. Going to be starting in the number 3 position. Brian Wirtz in the 82, also over at the RRO guys, going to be starting P4 alongside CJ LaVere in the 10 machine, going to be starting in position number 5. Jose Gonzalez in the 6 machine, going to be driving in that 26 car. Matt Kocher in the 69, going to be starting position number 7. Brandon Chaburko going to roll the 88 off position number 8. Mark Bratcher going to take the 38, he's going to roll off P9, and rounding out the top 10 is going to be Scott Simley in the Hot Wheels machine. Going to be starting in that number 10 spot. Jay Horton in P11. Brian Harvey in 12th. Jason Altman's going to be starting in position number 13. Stephen Mastro in the 45 going to be starting 14th. Scott Brotherton going to roll off that number 3 machine in the number 15 position. L.D. Sarabia in the number 4 going to be starting 16th. Blaine Woodruff in 17th spot. The 71 machine last driver to take time. Stefan Marinak in the 24 in 18th. Jeffrey Creek in the 42, 19th. Kevin Parson, the 99, going to be starting in 20th. Josh Cheney in 21st. Louis Rodriguez in 22nd. Douglas Wyatt, 23rd. John Wilco, 24th. Stephen Herring, 25th. Frank Coons, 26th. And William Roberts, 27th. And both William Roberts and Stephen Herring not on the racetrack as of this moment. Field is doubled up, and we're coming around through turns 3 and 4 and set to get this thing going for 125 laps at 170 miles around the track deemed too tough to tame. Pace car coming down already at the safety pit road. Ben Burnett on the loud pedal. Green flag flies. We are racing at Darlington. 37 leads us to take lap number 1. Back through the pack. Second place. No battle there as these guys try to spread out. A big pack of cars around position number 5. It is the 5th place car of CJ LaVere on the bottom, 88. Able to get around him, that's Brandon Chaburko. Chaburko started 3 spots back on that initial drop of the green flag. Then CJ LaVere, but was able to make the top side work. Everybody single filing out, and actually everybody throughout the whole field able to get single file rather quickly here, which is probably one of the smartest ideas. Coming through here, again, this track not easy to go side by side, and they're going to try to avoid that as much as possible until it comes down to the end of this race, where evidently you're going to have to try to make those moves, and that's where it'll really get interesting when you get down to those battles. Also talking about some of the tricky spots of this racetrack coming off of that 24, 23 degree banking, especially at a turn number 2, not uncommon to see that car sideways and sometimes get pointed right towards that inside wall, coming down the back straightaway and having no chance of saving it. That's been typically one of the most calamity corners, so to speak, here at this racetrack now, as everybody's still trying to be single file. Well, wrong contact, 71. Blaine Woodruff in the outside wall after contact in turns 1 and 2. His car with a lot of damage after he got into the wall. 47 got up into him also in turns number 1 and 2. No caution. We stay green. 71 to Blaine Woodruff, though, with some significant damage on both the right and left sides of his race car. He runs position 22, and actually this time by the front straightaway, that's going to update it. He's going to lose a bunch of positions. He's sitting 24th right now on the racetrack. Ben Burnett up front trying to open up a gap over everybody else. Matt Lacrosse sitting P2 right now in the 21 car. Has company, Daniel T. Murphy in that DuPont Chevrolet, trying to catch him for that number 2 spot. He's been slowly working in. These guys separated by about 2 to 3 car lengths. You see the 21 Grayswall. 21 already has that right side damage. That's the Darlington stripe. Something that's almost inevitable here is that right side of the race car, you can't really scrape it in this game and get a big black stripe on it, like in real life, typical of the Darlington stripe, so to speak. But when you see the right side damage on that car, you'll know where it came from. Now coming off before, great run by Daniel Murphy, and we're going to go side by side again. Daniel Murphy with the Real Racing Online guys coming over here with ITSR in the Twisted B-car series on Thursday nights, unable to make that pass in 1 and 2. Seems like the outside is where you want to be. 75 is going to drop back in line and now has company from Brian Wirtz. Another buddy over there with the RRO guys right behind them. Those cars running 3rd and 4th, and pretty much bumper-to-bumper traffic between positions 3rd through number 6, actually. 6th place car, Brandon Chaburko, the 88 dropped back a little bit. Jose Gonzalez in the 26 is in the number 5 spot, not too far off of Brian Wirtz. Again, Brandon Chaburko, last week's winner at Texas, so current points leader as well. And he is in that 88 machine, as we mentioned, running in the number 6 spot right now. 21 of Matt Lacrosse in 2nd place still. Brushes the wall again. Coming through 3 and 4, and that's going to allow the 75 of Daniel T. Murphy to close in a little bit as he tries to pull away a little bit from Brian Wirtz, rather. So everybody kind of fluctuating back and forth, and you look at these cars as they go through the corners, and you can see some seams on the racetrack, and you're like, those cars don't look like they're going too smooth through the corner. They're not. You're going from the bottom to the top, from the bottom to the top. Now is a pass going to happen. Brian Wirtz actually gets into the wall. Jose Gonzalez goes to the bottom, thinks better of it. Then 82 catches the wall in 3 and 4. So even if you're not too wide, you're still going to be bouncing off the walls, which makes this racetrack just too tough to tame. If we see anybody get out of here without some right side damage, he'll give them the trophy. Doesn't even matter where they finish. Again, 24 cars remain on the lead lap of the 26 that took us to the drop of the initial green flag. Stephen Herring 2 laps down, and Louis Rodriguez is already 1 lap down and back down pit road this time for some more damage repair, as looks like the left side of that machine pretty torn up. And yeah, 47 caught the inside wall, got sideways at a 2 like I talked about earlier, got damaged. So that's why you see the 47 car in position number 25, at least 1 lap down now. As race leaders go down to back straightaway, he's going to lose a couple more laps as he tries to get that left side damage fixed out. $5 is going to go to the winner of this evening's race, and then 3 more positions. Going to walk away with some money as well, as the ITSR officials going to do a little bit of a random draw. So you never know where you're going to finish and if you're going to be able to walk away with a little bit of cash out of this evening's race. Ben Burnett wants to do it the easy way. Clearly, he has no intentions of trying to get a lucky draw, because he is trying to pull away as he sits in the number 1 spot. He's been held to about a 7/10 of a second lead over Matt Lacrosse. Now, before it was about 8/10 of a second, so Matt Lacrosse really hasn't closed in, but everybody's bouncing off the wall. 37's got the right side damage. Matt Lacrosse, 75 of Daniel T. Murphy. Looks like he has the cleanest car right now as far as the right side of his machine goes, inside of the top 3 right now. 21 look way up against the wall. 75 looks low, comes up behind him off the corner. That 75 machine looks a lot more stable than some of these other cars, but he doesn't want to have to force that path. We saw him, though. Now he gets into the wall just as we say that, bounces right off and keeps going. But we saw what happened. He tried to go to the inside a couple laps ago, maybe 5 laps ago, tried to make that pass on Matt Lacrosse. Got down to the inside lane in the corner. Could not make it work. The high lane is where you want to go, because you see these guys just naturally drift up towards the wall and then slice down off the corner. 75 gets real sideways that time at a turn number 2, but the inside's not where you wanted to be. Got almost cut off, or really didn't have the line. Had to back out of it and get in back behind Matt Lacrosse, and by the time he did so, again, Brian Wirtz was able to close in on him right now. With a gap now between cars positions number 3 And for the 75 of Murphy and the 82 of Bortz is in the range of about 0.8 of a second. Ben Burnett not pulling away from Matt Lacrosse at this extent. Watch out for the 04. Everybody has to get out of the way. Frank Coons was on the racetrack lap car, and now we're going to go side by side for P2. And again, inside just does not work for Daniel Murphy. Tried to do it on Matt Lacrosse, unable to complete that pass once again, as those guys had to check up for the 04 of Frank Coons, who was a lap car and had a little bit of right side damage, and he stays way down there. And no yellow line there, guys. Again, that is those white hash marks, so that technically is the racing surface. You're not going to be able to go anywhere. Now one car nearly wrecks, trying to look out for him, the 51 car. I think that is down the back straightaway. 51 of Jason Altman's running top 10. Side-by-side battle, sees the 04 drifting up, and he nails those the brakes, locks him up, hangs onto it. But again, Frank Coons just trying to get out of the way. Racing surface very, very small. And now caution, going to fly on the speedway, trouble on the track, and a pace car going to come out, and we're going to slow him down as we try to find the cause of that yellow flag. But going to slow us down for the first time this evening and give us a moment to catch our breaths, as there was not a lot of battling on the racetrack per se, but a lot of guys trying to battle the racetrack itself, trying to survive at this racetrack. 99 machine is going to, or 99 is going to be the cause of the yellow flag, and that is going to be Kevin Parsons, and he was in a big group of cars here in 3 and 4 on lap 15 coming off the corner. Look to the inside of the 83 car, 83 in front of him of Jay Horton, and just as he did that, the 41 wanted to look to the inside of him. 41 takes a little bit of a peek down to the inside lane. That's not going to work. 99 gets spun off the corner, backs her in to the outside wall, keeps it going, but under the yellow flag. And now pit stops for our leaders. We're going to come down the pit road. Ben Burnett leads us in pit road, kind of way out there in turns number 3 and 4, and they come down pit road here, and then it's almost a downhill. Pit road actually is angled downhill once you get about to the start finish line. It goes down into turns 1 and 2, because again, the way that apron, so to speak, is, and it's going to be the strategy called. Do we see anybody try to take a little bit of a gamble early on this evening and maybe go for 2 tires, try to get some track position? Who knows? And do we see anybody stay in and take maybe some optional repairs that iRacing offers them? We'll see. Both top 2. No, 21 machine. Matt Lacrosse came a little bit too far, had to back up into his stall. Don't think he's going to be able to challenge for that number 1 spot. 2 tire stop, though, actually. 21 makes up for it. 26 out before Ben Burnett as well. 75 is going to get it also. Ben Burnett leaves B4 at a pit road. Daniel Murphy takes a 4 tire stop, and he's able to get around him just straight up. They both took 4 tires, and he was able to get around him. The other 2 cars that left before, Jose Gonzalez, right side only, and 21 of Matt Lacrosse, right sides only, after he actually slid through his pit stall coming down the pit lane. Had to back up a little bit, so call it out on the fact that he wouldn't be able to really challenge with that car that came in for the number 1 spot. Being Ben Burnett, surprised me, took 2 tires. Jose Gonzalez, take a look at where he was running. You can kind of expect it somewhere around the 10th position. You want to get up front, see what clean air can do to your car. However, Matt Lacrosse really wasn't running that far back in the pack, up there inside of the top 3, running in the number 2 spot. He's going to take the gamble, though. He wants the fresh air. However, because of such a stellar stop, Jose Gonzalez is going to have to come out second. Again, 75 machine comes out third, and Ben Burnett, who entered pit road in the number 1 position, going to exit pit road in position number 4. Again, as they work on a racetrack right now under the yellow flag. First caution of the evening here at Darlington Raceway, and didn't really get to see a long green flag run. Again, keep in mind these guys on 75% fuel in these B cars, so that is the Chevrolets and the Fords. No Camaros yet, unfortunately. We do have the Ford Mustang nationwide cars, but still the Impalas. A lot of these guys with custom sticker sets on them, Chevy SS sticker sets, decal sheets, whatever you want to call them. But these machines, some of the most entertaining to see on iRacing service. Not as fast as the Gen 6 cars, lot more stable. So you got to get to see how that will balance out. Lights on the pace car at the front of the field have been extinguished, so the field is going to double up, and we get set for a restart here, and it will come around on lap number 21 is when we will take the green flag, which means it'll be 105 laps to go at this extent in the race. Again, 125 laps around a 1.36 mile track, believe it or not, exactly 170 miles in length now as we come down the back straightaway here. So didn't really get to see a long green flag run, so didn't really have to see the difference between fresh and older tires, so that two-tire gamble was not as bad. But an interesting little fact here, the first NASCAR race here back in 1950 actually had really bad tire issues, and some of the teams actually went to the infield and were buying tires off of the fans because the tires were doing so bad. Don't think we're going to have anything that extreme this evening. But that first run, not long enough to really gauge the tire wear. Pace car down to pit road. Matt Lacrosse on the loud pedal, still in turn 4. And now they come down in front straightaway, and the green flag will fly. A very big restart box that these guys can take advantage of. Top two single file out side by side for third on back. 37 in the wall. Ben Burnett with a wiggle. 2 wide, 2 rows deep, very packed together around that spot. Coming off a 2. They all hang on to it now. 69 of Matt Coacher able to pull in front of Ben Burnett now. Ben Burnett able to single file out, still side by side behind him. Inside's going to work for Brian Wirtz. Tries to slide up in front of Chaburko. No, Chaburko gives him a bump. Chaburko gives him another bump now. Chaburko back to the outside, lane side by side. 82 with the advantage. It is the battle for position number 6. Chaburko on the high side going to get it. 82 pulls up now in front of the 10 machine of C.J. LeVere. LeVere now back down in front of the 42 of Jeffrey Creek. And these guys try to figure it out as we finally get single file with inside the top 10. Chaburko still wants to keep moving forward, though, in front of the 37 of Ben Burnett right now. Going to pick up 2 spots that lap, so move Chaburko up from position number 7 to position number 5. Remember last week's winner at the Texas Motor Speedways, that 88. And I want to go, oh, they're in the wall, but they're doing it every single lap here. 37 nails the wall that time. At a corner number 2, 82 of Brian Wirtz able to get to his inside, and does he complete the pass? Yes, he does. Has to slide up in front of the 37 and is able to make it work. 10 car of LeVere to the inside now. Puts the 37 is slow off the corner. 42 gets boxed in. Jeffrey Creek had nowhere to go, and now LeVere pulls back in front of Ben Burnett right now. Battle for the lead. 26 side by side. Jose Gonzalez to the inside lane on Matt Lacrosse. Does the inside work. Throws it in there. Slides up to the wall. The slide jog keeps it off. Beautifully done. And move Jose Gonzalez into the number 1 spot right now on the racetrack. And he's the points leader in the Tuesday Night Twisted Cup Series here with ITSR. And right now he's leading in the Intensely Twisted B-Car Thursday Night Series, once again here on MW Production. So, as he moves to the point, single file now, side by side, C.J. LeVere, going to pick up 1 position. He gets around Ben Burnett. That was the battle for 7. And these straightaways, not the longest in the world for sure. Now's the 42 machine of Jeffrey Creek goes to the inside, and that Kyle Larson target-looking machine got really squeezed down by Ben Burnett, able to hang on to it, but that was really close. 37 almost squeezed him down there to those white hash marks. They are able to hang on to it for now. Again, straightaways not the longest in the world, but they're long when you're running the speeds that these guys are. Again, not one of the fastest tracks in the world. By far, they get down to the range of about 135 and a quarter, and then down the straightaway. You really want to carry that momentum because it's so loose off these corners. You get out of the gas, and that's how you're seeing these guys get to your inside. And just like that, by the time you get to the corner, you're going to throw it in there, slide up, there's the pass. So you really have to worry about corner exit. We've already seen a couple guys catch the wall coming at a 2 alone. Now side by side for P7. You can get a look at that. C.J. LeVere under attack. The 42 of Jeffrey Creek to the inside of actually Ben Burnett, rather. Those guys going to slide up 42 in the wall, 37 into the 42. 24 of Stefan Marinak is also in this picture, as well as these guys continuing to do battle just inside of the top 10. Trying to fight for real estate. Everywhere else in front of them right now inside of the top 10 is single file as they run right now on the racetrack. 24 of Stefan Marinak wants to challenge. He's going to go to the inside of Ben Burnett. Has to back out of it. Did not have the run needed. Now they're going to go side by side. 37 to the wall. Marinak backs out of it again. Trying to time that and be able to make that pass. Right now, 19 cars remain on the lead lap right now as we continue to work under a second green flag run after one caution. Kind of broke that up a little bit. Race leader Jose Gonzalez going to go around the lap machine, the 04 machine of Frank Coons, who sits 3 laps down with continuous problems, has to ride the 8. But he comes right up in front of the track, in front of the 82 of Brian Wirtz, a car that was in 5th place. He has to get on the binder, and Brian Wirtz is going to go from 5th to 11th and even farther back as the Hot Wheels machine, 66 of Harvey around him, and the 68 of Scott Simley is going to try to get around on the top. No, 68 gets turned. Simley into the inside wall. The 4 machine of LD Sarabia, they're blocking the racetrack down the backstretch. Caution. And wow, that all stems back to the 04 of Frank Coons. If we didn't get a shot at it the first time, we need a replay on that. Lap 29, coming out of the corner, it was the 82 machine that gets cut off, going down into turns number 3 and 4. And going through 3 and 4, we talked about Frank Coons, who was running the inside lane, having a little bit of damage to his car. Not uncommon. We'd seen him down there before. And he threw it down there and just slid up in front of the racetrack. And Brian Wirtz had nowhere to go. Brian Wirtz lost all his speed. And those Hot Wheels machines kind of bunched up behind us. And I thought 68 was going to go for it. Had to check out of the gas a little bit forward and expect it. 4 got into him as the 68 tapped the wall. Both those guys, hard contact into the inside wall. And now we're going to go down pit road once again. Jose Gonzalez this time as race leader, going to lead us down pit road in the number 1 position. Matt Kocher in the number 2 spot in the 69 car. And we saw a little bit of 2-tire strategy last time. Race leader took 2 last time. You got to think that 26 car is going to take 4. Let's see what happens as they enter their pit stalls right now. 26 of Jose Gonzalez's first car in, obviously, as he goes to the attention of his crew. And it is going to be a 4-tire stop for him, and trying to take a look to see if anybody tries to throw some strategy into this, and it looks like 4 tires for everybody. However, the 10 car is going to leave pit road first. That's going to be CJ Oliveira, 2 tires only for the number 1 spot. We're going to step away and take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to be looking for some more green flag racing here from the track that is too tough to tame, the Darlington Raceway. You're watching the ITSR Intensely Twisted B-Car Thursday night series on MW Productions. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And back live at Darlington Raceway. Pace car down to pit road. Field in the hands of C.J. LeVere. Up at the front of the field, he's going to wait a lot longer than the other leaders have. Coming at a 4 on the gas. Green flag is back out. And we are racing the tape lap number 35. Here again on MW Productions. You're tuning into the intensely twisted B-car Thursday night series here with ITSR. My name is Evan Pizzoco, but a broadcast booth. This evening, we've seen 2 cautions so far, and we're racing pretty hard around position number 582 of Brian Wirtz, who nearly got collected an incident from a lap car that eventually stemmed to the incident that brought out the yellow, having some trouble trying to hold off the 24 of Marinak. Slides up in front of him, puts the block on him for that position. The 82 of Wirtz able to hang on to position number 5. That time by the start-finish line. Everybody else single filing out inside of the top 10, a lot easier this time and a lot quicker than on our most recent start. Obviously, the first restart of this race was a little bit more chaotic than this one, to say the least. C.J. LeVere back up front on a 2-tire stop. The guy in second, Jose Gonzalez, got there on a 2-tire stop the first time. Took 4 this last time around. LeVere the opposite. Now LeVere in the wall down the front stretch. 69 Matt Coulter to the inside, nearly comes up into the 26 of Jose Gonzalez. 88 of Brandon Chaburko. Going to try to squeeze by the outside lane at a 2. They both mind their P's and Q's for now, and side by side, door to door. Down to back straightaway. Does the outside lane prevail as it has so far this evening? Almost getting blocked now as the 26 of Jose Gonzalez tries to navigate himself through the corner. 88's going to get the advantage this time by the stripe. Can he clear it? 69 comes down. Makes it work as he nearly comes over the nose of the 69. There was contact. They weren't able to hang on to that now, as a lot of cars so far on torn up 19 remain on the lead lap right now, and that last car on the lead lap is Jason Altman's, who just left pit road as he is trying to get some continuing damage repair on his number 51 Ford. Battle up front, we got a little bit of bump drafting going on, and down the front straightaway Jose Gonzalez was able to catch C.J. LeVere coming at a turn number 4. Got right up to the back bumper, pushed him down the straightaway, didn't force it to the inside quite yet, and says that he'll hang on for now in that position, but it's side by side for number 2 now. Chaburko's on the inside. Jose wants to let the 88 go. No, he's going to squeeze back up to the top. Contact. They hang on for now. Nearly 3 wide now as the 69 trying to take advantage. This is a big group of cars. 2 wide, 2 rows deep. Very close together here from positions second on back. They're holding their breath right now. 69 with the slide job. 88 with a crossover for position number 2. Chaburko barely has a nose in there. However, going into the corner, he's got to throw it in there. Can't get it done. 69 of Coacher. Going to move up now to position number 2. But he's going to be able to win that battle for that spot. So move now Brandon Chaburko into the number 3 spot. 1 car way sideways. Jose Gonzalez catches the wall, and he's going to come back up in front of traffic, able to hang on. Jose is going to go from 4th to well outside of the top 10 right now, and that's actually Matt Coker right now in a number 2 spot in the 69 machine. C.J. LeVere was able to kind of open up a little bit of a gap as those guys argued for who was going to be where on the racetrack, and they battled for position from that second place on back, and Matt Coker was able to pick up that spot from there on, and Chaburko had to sacrifice for 3rd and made a real aggressive move. 69, though, is being aggressive, and he's running down C.J. LeVere. We've seen a lot of guys trying to make that pass happen, even if it's not there. Just kind of encourage him, cut him off a little bit, try to get the spot. 88 at Chaburko tried to do the same to him and try to cross him over out of the corner. Didn't have the line that he needed going into that, so unfortunately was unable to make that pass, and he has to settle for where he is as of now on the racetrack. So he's going to try to advance throughout, and here we go, battle for the lead. That 69 is moving Matt Coker to the inside of C.J. LeVere. LeVere, very strong on the outside lane, coming off the corner, should get the run. He will. 69 forced to pull in line. Matt Coker has to stay in second. Brandon Chaburko able to hold off a little bit of a charge from Stefan Marinak at a 24 car. In that number 4 spot is a Marinak right now on the racetrack. telling you guys, that 69 though, of Matt Coker, he's coming. He's worked his way, he's picked his way through these guys, top 3 in this field, and he's one of those guys, again, with the RRO guys, including some of the guys that we've seen so far this evening, guys like Kevin Parsons, William Roberts, Jeffrey Creek, Daniel Murphy, and Brian Wirtz also representing those guys coming over here and have a little bit of a fun competition to see if they can one-up each other and see who can get the best at this track. Again, the Darlington Raceway is no easy task. It's called the Lady in Black, the track too tough to tame. These guys are trying to figure this thing out, but I don't think I've seen one car that has not bounced off the wall at least once. Coker with a run now down the front straightaway. Does he look for it? He does. He gets a nose in there side by side, kind of for position number 1. Unable to hang on to it. 10 stays up high, but now the 69 has to pull back in line once again. You really need a good run. Someone that's got one, Chaburko. Chaburko thought about it. You stay in line. You really need a good run because you got to throw it in there on the bottom, put 2 left side tires below those white hash marks, slide up in front, and almost put a slide job on it. And 69 is going to go for Matt Coker just as he goes to the inside now. Caution flag. Going to fly trouble one car up into the outside wall. 42 Chevrolet of Jeffrey Creek. We just talked about him, one of the RRO guys, through the corner. And as we try to get that queued up on the replay, lap 46 coming through 3 and 4. And very interesting incident. Not sure what to say about that one. Going side by side with the 41 of Josh Cheney. 42 just turns right and gets into the wall, and might have thought that he overcorrected a little bit, but looked on the onboard there, and that car went exactly where he directed it to. And that is that he turned right in the middle of the left-hand turn into that machine that he was racing side by side with, the 41 machine, trying to send a message, and got into Josh Cheney and ended up spinning himself out. He got into the outside wall, and that car down on pit road, and they're going to take it on the hook back to the garage to see if they can salvage anything out of that right now as they run John Wilco to position number 1, because everybody else down there on pit road, CJ LeVere, who entered pit road obviously in the number 1 spot because he's your race leader, is going to come out after a 4-tire stop, and he is not going to be the first one off pit road. We have Matt Coker off pit road in front of him, and that is the 69 machine that we've seen running up front. That was a 2-tire stop for 69 crew, and one other machine out of pit road in front of our race leader that entered pit road being CJ LeVere. That was Matt Lacrosse. 2 tires as well. So it seems like the 2-tire strategy, a very favorable call, as John Wilco going to pit from the number 1 spot. And the 62 car comes down pit road this time around, as he stayed out to get the 1 bonus point for leading that lap. So he comes down pit road, but a lot of guys that we see running up front have made a 2-tire stop to get there. You got to start thinking the way these green flag runs are going here as we start to narrow in on the halfway point in this evening's event. Just about 40 minutes or so into racing so far this evening. You got to think you're not going to be able to make 2 consecutive stops with 2 tires work. I don't think as effectively as you want, because these 2-tire calls are actually working out fairly well for a lot of these guys, and they're almost playing a game of chess. Some guy goes forward and the other guy. They're kind of alternating. As one guy comes down, takes 2, the other guy's going to take 4. They're going to switch next time. You almost got to start thinking. You got to try to line these things up. What kind of position can we put ourselves in so that coming down to the final final pit stop rather, the most recent pit stop you made before, that was a 4, so you can go with 2. Something that some of these crew chiefs and the spotters might want to be keeping an eye on the guys in TeamSpeak, trying to strategize with teammates, and I know that obviously if you have the iRacing service you've raced on, and you know that the sim gives you your own spotter, but also there's the option to have a buddy come in and watch the race spot for you. So nothing saying that these guys aren't calculating fuel, calculating some strategy this time as we work off of corner number 4 to take lap number 50. I do believe the lights will go off at a pace car as it looks like we are starting to double up. They do, for the lights on the Ford First Racing Mustang pace car have gone out, and that's going to set us up for a restart. Coming to take lap number 51. That will be 75 laps to go as we work under our third caution this evening. All these green flag runs have been relatively the same in length. However, one difference is Matt Coker in the 69 machine, instead of trying to make the pass, he's P1. And we know that he has a fast car. We saw that he was continuously trying to make the pass, could not get the inside lane to work. What was arguably the fastest car inside of the top 10. Going to find himself in the number 1 spot. I'm sure he wouldn't mind if he can try to bring this thing down and check out on this field. Now as we come through 3 and 4, and again the restart zone very broad here. Pace cars that really enter pit road in the middle of 3 and 4, entering turn number 4 down there way below the racing surface. A big restart box that Coker can play with up at the front of the field. You see pace car down to the safety of pit road. 69 gonna wait on it now as we come out and through the corner. On the loud pedal, green flag flies, and we are back racing at Darlington with the ITSR Twisted B-car series side by side for position number 2. Laverne on the bottom, Matt Lacrosse on the top. Lacrosse is gonna get it. Marinac wants to take a look at there in the 24 car. Can he get it done? Coming up the corner, no. 88 sideways, Chaburko. He's able to hang on to it now as it's going to be a side-by-side battle for P3. The 10 of Laverne. He's still trapped on the inside lane. Can't find a way back up into the racing group. The preferred lane is going to be the top of that racetrack. Can't quite get there just yet as he tries to battle with these guys, and now he's able to do so as Brandon Chaburko was able to make that pass on him for that position. So single filing out once again inside the top 5. Golden 69 was fast, man. He has checked out 6/10 of a second lead over the second place car of Matt Lacrosse is Matt Coker up at the front of the field, and over a second back to that battle of those guys that we saw, that we were taking a look at just moments ago with Chaburko, Marinac, and Laverne, that those guys were trying to get sorted out just coming off of this restart. Again, 125 laps on the board for this evening's race. That means when we come by lap 63, so in about 10 laps, it will be the halfway point, and we will be moving on the downhill side of things here, closing in towards our checkered flag and seeing who's going to walk away with race win number 2. We talked about last week the incentive to want to win the first ever race, the inaugural race here with the ITSR, again, the Twisted B-car series. First race was last week. If it didn't turn in, a real good one at the Texas Motor Speedway. Again, we talked about that a little bit at the top of the show. Brandon Chaburko able to get the win, and Stephen Marinac came home second. Rhett McBride rounded out the top 3 in that event, as Matt Coker has a lot of lap traffic to get around. He's trying to navigate the 83 of Jay Horton. Jay Horton, last car on the lead lap, not going to roll over, give it to him because he wants to hang on to his lap. 83 stays high, forces the 69 of Coker to the inside lane, and 69 should be able to make the pass, and he has Matt Coker able to get around him, so Jay Horton going to lose his lap. That leaves us with 16 cars on the lead lap, all within 6 seconds of each other right now, again, as we are just coming off another restart. Bumper-to-bumper traffic, guys, however, from second on back, and the 88 of Brandon Chaburko is in the middle of it all, and he's last week's winner. He's going to look to make it 2 for 2, and he's got to make an aggressive move. 21 gets slow. He checks up Marinac. Marinac has to get on the brakes, and Chaburko is just going to kind of slide right back in front of him. Chaburko's going to take a spot. Marinac going to try to battle back now on the inside lane. Haven't seen anybody able to make it work off the corner side by side. Over you see the nose of the 24 only at the door of the 88 Chaburko this time around. 88 sideways up at the top of the track, able to hang on to it. Again, a very thin racing group around this racetrack, still side by side. You know, coming up and off the corner there, the 24 of Stefan Marinac is continuously trying to battle, slides real high up there to the middle of the groove. Again, that can barely fit too wide. 24 right in the middle, really squeeze the 88. 88 is able to hang on. 21 of Matt Lacrosse runs second right now. He's trying to get around the 83 of Jay Horton. 83 just kind of in everybody's way right now. He's already lost his lap, a little bit slower than these guys, but it's not like he has a lot of damage where some of these lap cars just blow by him. He still has a very good machine underneath them. Quick caution, wave around, and who knows, he could be back in this thing battling for a top 10. But Matt Lacrosse trying to navigate themselves and everybody behind him around at 83. 21 goes to the inside. Look at that 24 of Marinac, just so fast. Comes out of turn 2, and by the time we get to 3, he's already in front of the 88. Now caution going to fly on the speedway. Trouble on a big wreck down the back straightaway. 3-4 cars involved in it, and it's going to start with the 37 of Ben Burnett. And as we get this replay up, the incident is going to happen out of turn number 2. Ben Burnett racing side by side with 82. 37 just comes down. Spins himself off the 82. 99 goes low to avoid it and drives right to where the 37 was. You hate when that happens. And then the 99, Kevin Parsons' machine, taking a look at him, locked him up and just came up in front of the track and got nailed by the 41 car. 99 gets airborne. Holy cow, big mess of cars in this one. 45's in it. 66 is able to sneak on by. 51 gets some damage as well. And as they pile him in on the back straightaway, leader is going to come down pit road once again. And question is going to be not if, but who is going to take 2 tires this time around, as we've seen at every single pit stop that you take 4 tires, you're not going to lead coming out of pit road. So let's see what happens as Matt Coker leads his machine down into pit road. He comes into his stall and took 2 tires last time. Obviously going to be looking for what we would think would be a 4-tire stop this time, and he is going to stay in his stall and take those 4 fresh Goodyear tires, and away he goes. I see a couple guys, however, going to leave pit road in front of him. 24 Marinac going to take 4 as well. Coker going to leave the 4 tires off of pit road, but DJ LeVere back to the point after taking 2, took 4, lost a couple track position, and take 2 again. And he's going to lead these guys off of pit road. We're going to step away for another commercial break. When we come back, we continue to close in on a halfway point. You're watching the ITSR, the Intensely Twisted B-Car Series on MW Productions.
In a world where survival is the only rule, and feelings have no place, where winning is everything, and weakness is fatal, how much difference can one person make? That depends on the person. In every life, there is a line that cannot be crossed without leaving everything behind, except faith. Once that step is taken, there is no looking back, and all that lies ahead is destiny. There is no looking back, and all that lies ahead is destiny.
Green flag back out just now, but in turn number 4, Jose Gonzalez going to lead us back here now in the turns number 1 and 2, side by side. For P3, it is going to be the 88 of Chaburko on the outside lane, able to prevail over the 69 of Matt Coker for that spot. And again, single file out pretty quickly throughout this field, as this time by, or actually that time by when we took the green flag after our 4th caution this evening, get past the halfway point. So on the downhill side of things and starting to close in from this point on towards that checkered flag and crowning what will be a second winner. Or do we see back-to-back wins from Brandon Chaburko as he goes for P2? He's trying to make it happen. LeVere sideways out of the corner. Chaburko to the inside now. Sideways in 3. Hangs on. He was so sideways the thing was putting smoke. And he has the 24 of Marinac, and all of those guys able to get around by this 88. Chaburko able to hang on to it. He had that problem right before he went to caution. Tried to make a pass, got super sideways, so makes you wonder if that 88 is running at 100%. 69 of Matt Coker will move up now into position number 2. Gonna make that pass on the racetrack. Now caution gonna fly. Whoa, one car sideways in front of race leaders. That was nearly close. Ben Burnett gonna bring it out, riding all by himself. Catches the wall on the backstretch, gets hooked to it. Bounces on the inside wall. And he just left enough room for Jose Gonzalez. If he clipped your race leader there, that would have been a story. But he was able to lock it up, and the leaders were able to squeak on by. There was a little bit of too wide that we were kind of keeping an eye on, and everybody was able to survive that and get on through. But what a close call, and we're going to group back up. That was the shortest green flag run that we had seen so far this evening. After that lap machine of Ben Burnett had those problems again. Ben Burnett not too long ago was up at the front of the field. And now next thing you know, sitting 4 laps down in position number 14 on the racetrack. Kevin Parsons has announced that his car is done for this evening, the 99 car. Again, he locked up those brakes down the front stretch, tried so hard and unfortunately slid back up into traffic, and that car damaged beyond repair. So he is going to take it behind the wall. His night going to come to a premature ending. Unfortunately, not the showing that he was looking for, but still got a couple of buddies there from RRO. Again, the real racing online versus the ITSR guys still going on this evening. A bunch of those guys running. Matt Coker currently leading the charge for the RRO guys right now as he runs in position number 3. As we work under this yellow flag, and again, now that we're in the second half of the race, it gives us a moment to almost reset, kind of, and pick your strategy from here on out. Gives you a little bit of chance to play with your crew chief on what you want to do. Again, Jose Gonzalez, we see him up there in the number 1 spot, took us back to the green flag, did not even pit under the last yellow flag. So forget the guys that went out on 2 tires. 26, he's got nothing. He's got old tires, and he was able to open up a little bit of a gap towards that number 1 position. Where did they run? Right now on the racetrack, Jose Gonzalez once again leading the cup side of points. Again, if you are new, you just stumbled across this race, ITSR also with their Twisted Cup Tuesdays. So this obviously with the B-car is the nationwide equivalent to their Tuesday night series, where Jose Gonzalez actually leads the points over on that side of things in his number 26 machine. So keep an eye on him too. He has an 11-point lead over CJ LeVere. LeVere sits 3rd this evening in this B series race here. I'm going to update you guys on the weather here at the Darlington Raceway right now. Partly cloudy, 78 degrees Fahrenheit, not too bad. Sun's still out, as you can see. Slight winds to the north at 2 miles an hour, and your iRacing normal of 55% relative humidity, so no real crazy weather things that these guys would have to try to work into their setups. Again, running the fixed iRacing setups, 75% fuel. And this is, again, race number 2, the Stripe This 125. Last week, we were at the Texas Motor Speedway. Always fun going to Texas, especially in these cars. Very competitive, very racy track, very wide, and that put on a good show. And again, that race was another 125-lap race. That was the Longhorn 125 this evening. Darlington, we talked about it at the top of the show. The track, 1.36 miles in length, turns 1 and 2 significantly wider than turns 3 and 4, which makes it very interesting at this point in the race. So, very classic track. Again, opened up back in 1950. A lot of history in this building and building at this speedway, so to speak. 1 and 3 and 4. We're getting ready for another restart. Coming to take lap 70, Jose Gonzalez, Braden Chaburko on the front row. Jose's going to wait on it. He's on the loud pedal. Green flag flies from the flag stand as the field comes out at turn number 4. We're green. Back racing here at Darlington. The green flag has returned to the speedway as Jose Gonzalez is back up there in the number 1 spot, bumper to bumper. 4 positions second on back. That is Chaburko on the back bumper of CJ LeVere, trying to battle for that position. And again, the 69 of Matt Coker, who we've seen has been fearless when it comes to trying to make those passes on the inside lane. And even if he doesn't have a lot of speed, he's going to try for it. He's going to go for it again at a 4 to the inside, side by side for position number 3. As Matt Coker tries to make this work, they're going to go side by side with 88 of Chaburko. Chaburko comes down and is able to hang on to that position. A lot of slide jobs, a lot of beating and banging, a lot of gamesmanship you're going to see at a racetrack like this. As again, single filing out very quickly, but a big train of cars. And Jose Gonzalez has not been able to check out because, again, he took no tires. Everybody else came down for stops. Coker wants it again to the inside of Chaburko once again. Trying to make it work. Chaburko way up the racetrack, nearly grazes the wall. 69. A lot better this time through, coming off of turn 2. Still side by side, you see the run, though, that Chaburko gets, and Coker's taking at the pulling line. Once again, a little bit of side by side behind them. 21 of Matt Lacrosse, trying to put a little bit of a slide job on Brian Wirtz, and he's going to do so. Does Wirtz cross him over? No. So those guys are going to stay in line. Man, this 69, he's still trying, guys. Side by side for P3 again. As Coker to the inside lane, still unable to hold off the top, nearly gets into the left rear of the 88 of Brandon Chaburko, able to hang on to it. And this consistent battling, the constant battling from third on back is going to allow the leaders to pull away just a little bit. They're still side by side. 69, however, has a nose this time now, coming out of turn number 4. Coker's going to have the advantage at the stripe by inches. Can he make the pass in 1? Throws it to the bottom, tries to slide up. There's the slide job. He does it beautifully. No chance of a crossover, and move that machine. Nail up in the number 3 spot. Great job by Matt Coker. Tried and tried and tried again, and 7th time's the charm because he kept going lap after lap after lap, was able to stick it there, had the more of an equal playing front, per se, going into turn 1 instead of just having their nose there. Was able to be side by side, slid up in front, and Chaburko was unable to try to counter that with the crossover, and that's what allowed that 69 machine to move what is into now in the number 3 spot now, as everybody else inside the top 10 single file. 13 drivers remain on the lead lap at this point in the race as the green flag continues working, and we've seen 5 cautions so far this evening, kind of averaging around maybe 17 laps or so is the average green flag run that we've seen. However, the most recent caution brought out came after just about 1 or 2 laps. Other than that, though, we really haven't seen an extended fuel run. We have not seen any green flag pit stops, and that becomes for the fact that you're not only fighting the other drivers, but you're fighting this racetrack. Again, this track is very, very difficult to run. The groove is very small. You're drifting up and down the track. You're bouncing off the wall. You got to make sure you don't come spinning off that wall. There's guys all over the place trying to advance their spots. So it's almost of a mixed battle. Side by side P7. That's going to break down now as Marinak decides better of it. He had a nose on the inside of Brian Harvey. Going to back out of that and say, I'll wait a little bit. And that battle going to cool down just for a moment The 24 with such a run off the corner to the inside for P7. Stefan Marinak, 66 of Harvey, backs off the gas, waves him on by. So moves Stefan Marinak now up in the number 7 spot as that battle starts to separate, as Harvey recognized that, hey, this guy's faster than me. I don't need to force it. I don't need to hold that outside lane, go in there too wide, and Lord knows what will happen, and we could both end up in the fence. So sticks the hand out the window, allowed the 24 to go on by, and Marinak wants to continue his charge to the front, 3.2 seconds back from race leader Jose Gonzalez. Is the 24 of Stefan Marinak right now, as he sits in position number 7. How about Jose, guys, though, in the number 1 spot again? No tires, and is able to start to pull away almost side by side for P2 again. Look at that, 69 again. Left side tires below the white hash marks. The 10 of LeVere holds a very steady line up top and gets in front of the 69 machine, and Matt Coker has to wait again. But you have to admire the determination behind the wheel of that car that sits third right now, that 69 machine of Matt Coker. Again, you see a lot of guys. We've seen it with the Hot Wheels machines, Brian Harvey and Scott Simley, those guys that are on the Hot Wheels designs. We've seen them closing in each other. We've seen guys like CJ Levera, Jose Gonzalez close up to the back. Some guys don't immediately go for the pass. They stay on the back bumper, they push them down the straightaway, and then they would proceed from there to try to make the pass. 69 doesn't care, man. Matt Coker, he's like, if I just get a nose, I'm going to keep pestering him, and eventually he's going to slip up. I'm going to get the spot. It worked with Matt Lacrosse. Let's see if it works with LeVere. LeVere slowed down the front stretch after a poor exit out of 469 to the bottom, 10's in the wall. 69 slides up in front of him, and there is that position. So they're able to sort that thing out there and move on from here. So that's 69, though. Matt Coker running through this field, picking them off one at a time. You can't just fly by everybody at once at this racetrack. Not the easiest thing to do. This racetrack itself, very hard to navigate by yourself. Again, we saw a couple guys have some trouble in qualifying. One of those guys, Frank Coons, wrecked in qualifying, started way back in 26th and sits 24th out of the race right now. So it just shows you how much of a track position is important. Contact! Brian Wirtz into the back of CJ LeVere for position number 3. Very aggressive move on part of the 82. 82 wants to go side by side. They're going to go at it door to door in 3 and 4. 82 gets a nose out there. That's Wirtz. LeVere hanging stuff on the outside lane. Advantage is going to be to Brian Wirtz at the stripe. Caution now going to fly. Trouble on a racetrack. And one car spinning on the back straightaway all alone. The 47 of Luis Rodriguez. Going to go around. Caution. Going to fly. 47 just nailed the outside wall. And let's take a look at what happened. And just clip that wall. Taking a look at the onboard, he's kind of seesawing at the wheel. He's not holding it because it's not an even radius around this. You kind of make that car walk up the hill, turn it left to try to kick it out a little bit sideways, try to navigate your way through this corner, and just clip the wall. And next thing you know, you're into the inside wall. Again, turn 2 is going to claim yet another victim. And we're going to slow down once again for the 6th time this evening, and probably look forward to some more pit stops coming up here. Again, we didn't see pit stops on the last yellow flag because it had only been about 2-3 laps since the most previous. Again, because of that spin, but you see race leaders down on the apron right now in 3 and 4. Looks like they're all going to come down for service. All 12 of our lead lap cars should be coming down pit road this time, led by the Puerto Rican prowler Jose Gonzalez up in the number 1 position. Going to lead up down. And again, the question is going to be who's going to be the tire that's going to take 2 tires and lead road position number 1 is going to be the question. Again, Jose, no tires. Didn't even come down pit road the last time we came down, and everybody else made a stop. 26 machine definitely looking stout. You have to expect probably a 4-tire stop from him and his crew. Let's see, he comes into his pit stall beautifully. However, 69 a little bit behind him. Matt Coker had a little bit of a better time entering his stall, and looks like it's going to be 4 tires for Jose Gonzalez. So the man that leads us down pit road is going to lead the 4-tire stops off. Does anybody take 2 to beat him? No. For the first time this evening, everybody's got the right idea. 4 tires throughout the field. And we're all going to be on an equal playing front now as we move forward, and that could come to the strategy. These guys might be thinking, again, this time right now, they're working lap 85 under the green flag. 125 laps is the scheduled distance. That is going to be the distance. No overtime, no green-white checker. 125 laps, checkered flag regardless. Take a look at the 15 laps to 100. That's about a 40-lap run. These guys are thinking, again, I said average maybe 17 laps. You split that 40 in half, you're pretty close to 17. Talked about it earlier in the race that you might want to set yourself up so that your final pit stop can be 2 tires. That may be exactly what these leaders are doing to try to prepare themselves to be in the best possible spot moving forward and prepare themselves for that race that will come to that green flag and eventually to the checkered flag to give themselves the most competitive race car. Do we go green to the checkered flag? Wouldn't think so. Take a look at the way this race has gone so far this evening. The trends of the yellows and whatnot been pretty consistent. As again, we work under caution number 6 at the Darlington Raceway. We'll tell you where the top 5 qualifiers are right now on the racetrack. Ben Burnett qualified position number 1. He's out of the race in position number 16. Actually, he's in the chat right now. He's tuning into the broadcast. So Ben Burnett, pole sitter, night did not go the way he wanted. Hey Ben, how you doing? Qualifying second, Matt Lacrosse currently runs position number 5 on the racetrack. Daniel Murphy, who qualified third, also out of the race, 21st, 36 laps down. This track very tough on these guys. Brian Wirtz qualified 4th. He's running 4th on the racetrack right now, and Matt Lacrosse running in position number 5. He was the second qualifier over that, and then CJ LaVere qualifying 5th, sits 10th. So about half those guys got into line. The pace car lights have been extinguished on the top of the Ford First Racing Mustang pace car. So we are going to get set for a restart on lap 88. Try to get us so much closer to that checkered flag and try to close out our second week of racing here with the ITSR, the B-car series over here on MW Productions. Again, my name is Evan Pasoko, solo. No but a broadcast booth this evening, so trying to talk as much as possible here and keep this race exciting, and obviously the action on track has been very good as well. We've seen guys beating and banging on each other and beating and banging on the wall also. So we're going to have to see how this thing comes down, starting to close in. You can feel the anticipation, the intensity picking up as we close in now, and the pace car in the field start to work into 3 and 4. So the capacity crowd here at Darlington Raceway, 75,000 of them strong, rise to their feet. Pace car down to pit road. Jose Gonzalez, he ain't messing around, wastes no time. On the loud pedal green flag flies. Now down the front straightaway, Matt Coker able to have sole possession of the number 2 spot, side by side for position number 3. Who is going to get it? It is the question. Door to door, 82 on the outside. Brian Wirtz, 24 of Merrimack. Oh, got real close to the left rear there of the 82 machine. Those guys able to hang on to it. They got company though. Matt Lacrosse trying to close in. Side by side for position number 1. Coker cannot get it. Jose Gonzalez with a great run. Coming at a turn number 4. And he is able to hang on to the number 1 spot. But the biggest mover, not in total position-wise, is that 69 of Coker, man. Started 7th. He's been up to first, second, drop back to 5th. Keeps picking him off. Arguably one of the best cars here this evening. One of the best looking, too. He doesn't have a lot of right side damage either. Showing a lot of car control this evening is Coker right now. Running P2, he showed that he's not afraid to try to make those passes, and trying to do so once again as he rides about a half a car length, stalking his prey, which is Jose Gonzalez, who runs right now in the number 1 position on the racetrack right now as they worked out of back straightaway. This next time around going to be 35 laps to go, getting so close to that checkered flag, and have to keep an eye on the whole caution situation to see how this may shake up the race, and if they do indeed do what I predicted, and that is trying to set themselves up for the 2-tire stop. 2 cars that are side by side is that number 1 spot. You look away for a second, he's there. Jose's in the wall. 69 of Coker doesn't want to budge an inch. Coming off the corner, 69, 26. Jose with about a nose over him down the back straightaway now, going into turns 3 and 4. 69 machine of Coker can't get it done. The 26 of Jose Gonzalez real strong there. in the middle of the corner, looking for the runoff. The corner, he does so, and he's gonna clear him down the front. Good job by Jose Gonzalez. Again, during the practice session, these guys had about an hour and a half of practice in the sim before things went green, and taking a look at some of the guys in the last half hour of that, a lot of wrecks. Now, obviously, they're not going to be as hammered down in the race as they were there. They were probably practicing their last laps, nailing it, don't back it out of it. But it's hard to go too wide at this racetrack. It's hard enough to go one wide and keep it out of the fence. And Jose Gonzalez, even though the 69 Coker got down to the inside and pushed up, didn't budge an inch, didn't panic, didn't get into the outside wall, didn't check up, held his ground, stayed right there on that outer seam on a racing surface. And that's why he's able to hang on and maintain the spot that he's in right now, which is that number 1 spot. See, top 4 have kind of broken away. You kind of see him there in the shot. Top 4, third place is Brian Wirtz is 87, and Stefan Marinak's 24 sits P4. And these guys are within a second of each other, and you got about 1.6 second gap between race leader Jose Gonzalez and Matt Lacrosse, who is the 5th place machine, as again only 11 guys remain on the lead lap at this point in the race. Last week at Texas, taking a look, we had 11 drivers only remain on the lead lap. So at that same number this evening, last car on the lead lap is Douglas Wyatt, Hippie Doug Wyatt, in the number 5 machine. He currently sits 11th, about 10 seconds back, and running not the pace that our leaders are, as he negotiates around a couple cars. Big battle going on as the 24 car of Stefan Marinak, they're all able to get on by because Jose Gonzalez had a big problem there in 3 and 4, and I don't think he'll like that because he got into the wall, fair game, and then arguably 69 put him in the wall again. Obviously not on purpose, but I don't think Jose will forget that because we have a new race leader, the 69 of Matt Coker, out to the point. He's got about a 7 or 8 of a second lead right now in our number 1 spot. He showed that he is, if not one of, the fastest car this evening. Can anybody catch him without the assistance of a caution moving forward? It's Jose Gonzalez now in a number 4 spot. Now actually behind Matt Lacrosse. Matt Lacrosse able to get in front of Jose as well. So Jose Gonzalez and the number 26 gang, they're going to drop back from the number 1 spot to sitting where they are right now at a racetrack, which is position number 5. Bumper-to-bumper traffic continues for position 2nd and 3rd. Brian Wirtz, 69 hundredths off of Coker, and Marinak, about 8 tenths off of Coker as well. Those guys battling, and not really battling with each other, just kind of running really even with each other. They've been about 1-2 car lengths separating each other for the last handful of laps. You take a look on board there with the 24 car. So very even race cars as of now, as they run on the racetrack right now. 82 of Wirtz trying to pull away a little bit. He knocked off 100th of a second from Coker's lead that time high. So these guys obviously going to want to try to chase him down and see what they can do as these laps again continue to close in. We're just about 2 laps away from the 100 lap mark in this race. And Matt Coker, again, he's worked. He's got up to the number 1 spot, and he was able to pick up a 10th on those guys behind him from 2nd and 3rd on back. Very fast machine up at the number 1 spot. Jose Gonzalez not making up any ground after he dropped back. If anything, losing a little bit of time to Matt Lacrosse. That is the first car in front of him. Matt Lacrosse sitting P4. Lacrosse is about 2.2 seconds off of race leader, and Jose Gonzalez himself about 2.6 seconds off. So very different. I talked about how he wasn't afraid when that 69 would throw it in there, and it looked like he was going to slide up, and 26 would just hold his line. And Jose got into the wall a little bit, going down into the corner, and opened up the door for the 69, slid up, got into the 26 of Jose Gonzalez, and Jose has a good amount of right side damage on that car, so you got to wonder, is it affecting the machine? And again, that's one of the tricky things with iRacing, is the fact that you can get the wall and your car will look pretty torn up and you may have no damage, and then we may see you just kind of pancake the wall, but the side of the car doesn't look like there's a lot of damage into it, but the toe's knocked out of it and it's really hard to drive it. So doesn't look too bad on Jose Gonzalez's machine. Again, he wasn't really running away from Matt Coker. However, now that 69 is extending the gap on everybody, it's nearly a second from those guys that have been side by side for positions, or running bumper to bumper for positions, second and third. Wirtz and Marinak, they continue to run on the racetrack the way they have the last couple laps. Again, about 1-2 car lengths separating these guys inside of the last 100 laps in this race. We're going to step away, go to a final commercial break. When we come back, it's going to be a race to the checkered flag. You're watching the ITSR Intensely Twisted B-car series on MW Productions. Don't go anywhere. We'll have more from the Lady in Black after this. And welcome back to the Darlington Raceway, the track too tough to tame, the Lady in Black, whatever you want to call it. One car has solidified itself as a top dog, and that car is in the number one spot. That's going to be Matt Coker in the 69 machine. Has returned to the point after making contact with who was then race leader Jose Gonzalez on the racetrack. And we are inside of 25 laps to go, starting to close in, and this thing's starting to wind down. The question is, we're right in that range that most of our green flag runs this evening have been. Everybody took 4 tires. You would expect that if we saw a caution, everybody would go for 2, maybe even none. So who knows? We'll have to see the strategy going forward, but that 69 has no issues with the green flag being out because he is checking out on this field, and actually in the last 2 laps has gained 3/10 on the machine in second, which is Brian Wirtz, and Wirtz still under attack from Stefan Marinak. And we're taking a look at that battle before the break and now, and those guys still going at it for that spot. Marinak to the inside, down the front straightaway, and into turn number 1. You see he's going to throw it in there, slide up with the slide job. 82 looks for the crossover, can't get it done, and Marinak going to make the pass on Wirtz as those guys continue to kind of shuffle positions, trade them in and out, and it is going to be 24. Going to get the best of it that time by, and you had a good onboard angle for that as they now work around the racetrack more than a second behind Coker up at the front of the field. 2 cars that have kind of dropped back a lot after being about 2.5 seconds back. Matt Lacrosse, Jose Gonzalez running 4th and 5th. Going to be running the same spots, but now in a range of 6 seconds back right now. 10 cars remain on the lead lap. Last car on the lead lap still is Douglas Wyatt, Hippie Doug in a 5 machine. 21 seconds back, or Want to take it into consideration? He's about 8 seconds ahead of the race leader before he gets lapped and would lose his lap. So we had 11 drivers finish on the lead lap at Texas last week. Right now, we have 10 on the racetrack. As of now, still some racing to go, as now inside of 15 to go with his 14 laps to go. Closing in on this thing, I'm sure a bunch of these guys would like to see a yellow. Not going to jinx anything. 69 is looking awfully strong. Even if they do, I don't know if they can beat him. Because, again, we talked about the fact that you can get a run off the corner. If you don't get a run, you're going to get eaten alive if that guy gets a run. We've seen people not get the best of runs coming off the corner. And some guys think, well, they have a little bit of speed. They're not going to get there. The way that you guys have been passing is they're putting their left side tires behind those white hash marks in the corner, sliding up, almost doing a slide job of sorts. Most of these guys figure, if I can't get nose to nose with them, I can't get it done, so they're just going to push them down the straightaway. Not our race leader. Okay, all night long, that 69 of Matt Coker, even if you can only get a nose to the rear tire, he's still going to throw it in there every single lap, try to cause an error from the guy that he's trying to get the position from, and it's worked. And the aggressive racing style, the aggressive style of him, has really paid off this evening and has gotten him to where he is. That's the way you got to race a track like Darlington if you want to be successful. It is working out for him right now. Stefan Marinak now 1.2 seconds back at a number 2 spot, and Brian Wirtz has really fallen back. He's one of the RRO guys, of the Real Racing Online guys, currently sitting in position number 3. So is Coker. He's representing the RRO guys well, running in position number 1 in a 69 car, looking to close this thing out, and next time by the start-finish line as he works through turns number 1 and 2. It will be 10 laps to go. And again, something that you always have to mention here is no green-white checkers in the iRacing system, so much like IndyCar, the race length, 125 laps, that's it. No shorter, no longer. I don't think we're getting any rain here on the iRacing service, and you're not going to have any overtime and no green-white checkers. So the average caution takes about 4 laps maybe to figure it out. So if you get a caution within 5 to go, it could end the race at that moment. So at some tracks, you kind of want to stalk your prey. You know, some people relate it. You go to a restrictor plate track, you're running second, wait till the last turn. Can't really do that. You just got to make your move. Stefan Marinak's closing. It's 0.7 of a second between positions number 1 and 2. Can he make this final charge? This time by 9 laps to go for Matt Coker up in the front of the field. It's 0.6 of a second. That 24 is trying to haul some guys to try to close in on that machine that's running P1. Can Marinak get it done? This speed came out of nowhere. I just mentioned he was 1.2 seconds back. It's only 0.6 now. He's still closing in. Does there problems with the 69 car? Or did Stefan Marinak, was he saving something for these last couple laps? We now have a battle for the win here, guys. This time by the stripe, scoring an update once again. 0.5. He's going to pick off another one. And he looks real strong going into quarter number 3. Right now they work through 1 and 2. Marinak tries to navigate the outside lane, swoops low, coming off the corner. Very smooth. He's not kicking the rear end out sideways. Or I feel like if he's still running in second, you come down to the final 2 laps, you'll see him probably wreck it trying. He'll be kicking that thing out so sideways. However, he's fast, but he's still under control. Coker with a great turn there through 3 and 4. This time by the stripe. Bring an update once again. Still 0.5 of a second. Marinak trying to get it done as we approach 5 to go. Coker in the wall up front. And typically you hear that, he's done. This is Darlington. Just bounce right off that thing. Keep going. And really don't lose a lot of speed. Marinak really didn't look like he was able to close on. Right here, he closes a lot. Going into turn number 3. Only trade-off is Coker gets a good run coming out of turn number 4. Great lap for the 24. This time by 6 laps to go. 0.4 of a second. He's there. And now, Matt Coker's got a little bit of trouble going on in front of him. A lap car that he may have to negotiate. Hippie Doug Wyatt, I talked about him, the last car on the lead lap not too long ago, is on the racetrack. If he gives the 69 any sort of trouble trying to get around him, Marinak is going to be there, and Marinak is there. 3-4 car lengths separate the top 2. This time by the start-finish line. 5 laps to go. And it is 0.3 of a second. As you see right there, Douglas Wyatt gets way out of the way. He wants no part of this. He wants to let these guys race it out, and the fans are starting to feel it. And this is picking up here, guys. Coker down the back, straight away. Stefan Marinak with about a 3-4 car length disadvantage into the corner. needs to get a real good run off, or does that 24 getting bigger in the mirror, the 69 of Coker, make our race leader make a mistake? Who knows? If a caution were to fly from this point on, it's over. We're working 122 of 125. And it will be 3 to go this next time by the start-finish line. Good turn there by the 69. I think Coker may have picked something up, picked up a little bit of time. The 24 is so strong on entry to turn number 3. And coming off 4, though, 69 equally as well. That is Coker in the number 1 spot. 3 laps to go. And it's 2/10. Stefan Marinak is going to try to pull this one out of nowhere. Coming out of nowhere, trying to get this thing done. He's within 3 car lengths now. Down the backstretch, he's going to really have to throw it in to 3 and 4. It's going to be 2 to go this next time by. He knows that this race could end at any moment. You don't need 2 cars side by side to cause a caution. This time by, he picked up a lot more time. 1/10 of a second. It's a 10th a lap for Marinak. He needs 2 to pass him, and it's 2 to go. This is going to be come down to it. Coming out of turn number 2. 2 laps to go. He's in the wall, Stefan Marinak. It's all over. I do believe as he pounded the wall coming out of turn number 2, he just lost a lot of time after working so hard to try to catch up to Matt Coker. This time by, that 1/10 of a second lead is back to 4. White flag out here at the Darlington Raceway, located again in Darlington, South Carolina. And what a battle, what a fight that 24 put up. Nearly walked away with this thing. He was closing. He's still there, but he's not close enough. Matt Coker coming at a turn number 4 it is. Down the front straightaway, checkered flag. 69 to victory lane in the stripe this 125 at Darlington. Stefan Marinak comes home dejected in second place. Brian Wirtz coming home in second. Matt Lacrosse 4th. Jose Gonzalez 5th. And the Real Racing Online guy is going to come home with a 1-3 finish and take up the majority of the podium. It looked like it was going to be side by side there. Coming down to the end of a mistake by Marinak is what loses him the opportunity to battle for it. Matt Coker to victory lane at a 69. We're going to step away one final time. When we come back, the post-race show, we'll try to talk to the top 3 finishers and wrap up this evening's races. More from the Lady in Black after this. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the ITSR Intensely Twisted B-Car series on MW Productions.
Hi, I'm Todd Malmstrom, driver of the 75M Ford Mustang GT. This is what I do by night. And this is what I do by day. I sell new Fords, and I've got the best selection of used inventory that you could ask for. Come see me down here at Central Ford.
Are you tired of getting hassled at the dealerships? Looking for a salesman that knows what he's talking about? Are you looking to buy a new or used car? Then look no further! Sexton Ford Moline, Illinois has the biggest selection of new or pre-owned vehicles, and Todd Malmstrom is the salesman you want. Todd is an expert when it comes to cars, and if you don't believe me, then you should see him race on a Sunday night. With his top-notch professional customer service and expertise, he will make sure you go home in the right car for the right price. No hassle, no haggling. Todd will make sure that you're happy when you leave the lot with your new or pre-owned vehicle. Remember, Sexton Ford may be the talk of the town, but so is Todd Malmstrom. If you're in the market for a new ride, then buy one from a winner. Todd Malmstrom at Sexton Ford Moline.
And welcome back to Darlington, South Carolina, where things just now wrapping up at the Darlington Raceway, and this race going to come to a close to strike this 125 in the books, and we're down here on pit road, and we've caught up with a couple of our top finishers right now, talking to the driver of the 82 machine, Brian Wirtz. Brian, able to come home third, kind of lost touch with the leaders a little bit there, but a very successful day. You started fourth, able to come home with the top three. Talk to us about your approach to this race, coming into this race, 125 laps at Darlington. How'd you prepare for this one?
It was a phenomenal race. I got to thank you guys at ITSR for allowing us at RRO to join you guys tonight. It was a great race. I knew I had to save tires for the long run. I hadn't had much practice, but yeah, at the end there, those two pulled away and they had a great race.
And definitely you talked about that. You guys representing on the podium P1 and 2 for the RRO guys for sure. Walk us through these pit stops. I know that we saw fluctuating 2 tires and then 4 tire stops throughout the evening. Was 2 tires really a gamble? Because it looked like those cars that were able to make those strategy calls were able to hold their spots pretty well.
Yeah, I had to take 2 at one point. I was running third. Lap car had a mishap on track. I had to check up. I was back in 12th. My spotter made a judgment call, said we needed the track position over the tires. We went ahead and took 2, and it stuck very well that run.
And definitely that was able to set us up for a lot of interesting racing, a lot of fluctuating up in the front of the field, you know, guys watching positions. Do you think maybe if we got another caution, you may have been able to get up there and battle with those guys for the top 2 spots? Like, how important was it that restart and then evidently, trying to stick with those guys?
Early run, I had a pretty strong car. I would have had something if it was like a 5-lap shootout. But my car was really strong after 10 to 15 laps, and then it would really fall off any further than that. But, yeah, great race overall.
And definitely, I know you talked about thanking the ITSR guys. You guys obviously coming over here for the Real Racing Online series, coming over racing with us here Thursday night, and obviously being broadcasted on MW Productions. Any other sponsors or shout-outs you want to throw out there?
I got to give a shout-out to my brother. He was my spotter tonight. A pretty good job. Got me back into competition at the end.
Definitely 10-4. Well, congrats on the top 3 finish, and we look forward to maybe seeing you up front again.
Yep, thank you, and thank you to everyone to ITSR.
That is Brian Wirtz going to walk home with a number 3 finish here this evening. And now also down here on pit road, driver the 24 came so close. First of all, Stefan, where did that speed come from, man? We came back from commercial break. I'm talking about how you're 1.2 seconds back. Next thing I know, you're knocking off a 10th of your lap, and you were knocking on the door there and coming to 2 to go.
I didn't even know I had that much speed. I was being careful all night, and I guess because I was being careful, I had good tires at the end, and I was able to cut the corners better than the 69, and I don't really know where all that speed came from. I think at one point it was like 4/10 a lap, then it would go down to 2. And it was a lot of fun, though, chasing him down.
And then obviously we saw you get into the wall and lose those 3/10, and when I was able to make it up, was that you just trying to dig deep and try to get something to be able to get to him?
Yeah, it was. I thought I had a good enough run coming off of turn 2, and the wall pops out at you at this track. So yeah, I was going all out for it. There was only like 2 laps left.
Well, you take a look at the standings entering tonight. You were tied in the number 1 spot with Brandon Chaburko. He had some problems. He finishes outside of the top 10. You're going to be looking at a new points leader right now.
Yeah, it's been a great start to the season. 2 second places. I'm not going to complain about that. It's going a lot better than the Tuesday series. But he hit the wall earlier and quit, so I should have a pretty good points lead after this.
And definitely, you talk about the Tuesday series. Is there any sort of advantage you can get racing? I know in the real life, it's something that a lot of people talk about. The Cup guys running the nationwide cars trying to get experience. Is there anything that you can take away from this race and apply it to we go racing at Darlington on the Cup side of things next Tuesday?
To be honest, I really don't think so. I guess just the consistency and the tire saving. With these cars, you can kind of get a feel for the track before you race the Cup cars, but these cars are a lot different from the Cup car. I'm a lot better in these cars than I am in the Cup car. I'm not very good in the Cup car, so there's some things, but really no.
Well, second place finish. 4/10 of a second back. It's a lot better than finishing 1.2 seconds back after I thought you had that one, but very good charge. Able to come home second place. You qualify 18th, first car to not take a time, so nothing wrong with that. That's a pretty good improvement here this evening. Any sponsors and shout-outs do you want to say thanks to?
Yeah, I just want to thank ITSR and Steve Herring for putting this series together, and I want to thank the guys at RRO for joining us. We really liked having you guys racing with us tonight. And Hippie's Paint Shop, Quick Car, and that's it.
Definitely. Well, congrats on the top 2 finish. We'll look forward to seeing you back on this track Tuesday night in the Cup car, and then obviously next week.
Thank you.
That is driver of the 24, Stefan Marek, going to come home second place this evening after a valiant effort, unable to get that win, and the guy that he was unable to get away from is down here in victory lane. Matt Coker climbing out of the 69, victorious, coming over here with the RRO guys, coming over here to the ITSR side of things. Man, you were very aggressive. Every time you had a chance, you put that nose in there, trying to make those passes. It worked out in the end.
Yeah, it did. It was a tough race. I got to thank RRO and ITSR for letting me come and get in with them, race against different people.
Definitely. One thing that we talked about with a couple of the other drivers here that finished inside of the top 3 is the 2-tire call. We saw a couple guys come down. They take 2. They kind of jump up to the top positions, hold their own. Next time by, they'd take 4. The guys that took 4 took 2. A lot of shuffling. 2 tires seemed like a pretty good option there.
Yes, at some points it was. Take 2 tires. We'd go for about 15 laps, and then we'd have another caution. The 2 tires were good for a while, and then it just came down to the end. You needed 4.
And definitely we saw for the only time this evening, everybody took 4 tires on that final pit stop. How you were able to hang on to this one? I know that once you got out front, I said he might just check out because you were obviously trying to pass cars. You kept passing cars. You'd slide back. You'd get those spots right back. Walk us through those final laps. In a blink of an eye, your 1 second lead goes to just down to tenths. You were able to hang on to it. What were you thinking as that 24 started getting bigger and bigger in that rearview mirror?
It was really tough to see it down as quick as it did. Me and Jose, we were racing good there for a while, and I just used up too much tire, and I knew either Stefan or Brian Wirtz were saving their tires and were going to get to me eventually. But I'm glad he waited a little bit longer to come.
And definitely, well, when it's all said and done, you qualified fairly well, 7th, able to walk away victorious and take home the hardware and the little bit of money on the side of things as well. Any sponsors and shout-outs that you want to thank? The mic's all yours.
RRO is great. Great guys to race with and be around. That's really all I got in my Fastlane Motorsports. It's my team. That's it, guys. Thank you.
And definitely, well, we look forward to seeing you out here maybe again on another Thursday night and running up front.
Thank you. Time to go celebrate.
And definitely, so well, they go down and celebrate the 69 team, able to walk away with the win here this evening. That's going to do it with our coverage from Darlington here on MW Productions. When it's all said and done, Matt Coker able to hold off Stefan Marek for the number 1 spot. After last week's race at Texas, we do have a new points leader as Marinac able to lock that up. That is it for this evening. For myself, I guess, Evan Pasoko up here in the broadcast booth and Michael Woolley down there in the production hauler doing what he does to get us on air week in and week out. Next week, here on Thursday nights, we're going to be going to Fontana. It's going to be the Cali's Gnarly 95. Until then, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks in terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska. We run over 120,000 miles per month and some of the best equipment on the road today. We specialize in less than truckload shipments, show freight, we do rush team service deliveries, and haul your refrigerated or heated product. Our regular team service from Canada to California is second to none, and our staff and drivers are among the best in the business. I'm proud of our people and what they can achieve. Trucking is in my blood, it's my livelihood, and it's what I do best.
DGVertec.net's primary goal is to provide you with a successful website presence. They have purpose-built their web servers successfully throughout the years. The stress testing has been done so that they can provide you with an enhanced web hosting technology that they design for using future standards today for tomorrow. They offer 24/7 support for all web hosting plans. Their team answers support tickets 24/7, so if you have a problem at any time, an agent will be more than happy to help you. If you're not satisfied with your service within 7 days, then you can get a full money-back guarantee, with a 99 uptime guaranteed as well, with plans for shared hosting starting at just $2.95. It's clear to see why DGVertec should be your choice for web hosting. Just go to www.dgvertec.net today, your web hosting solution.